Hi, I'm Kevin with Gaming the Systems. Today we're going to take another look at an unexpectedly hard stage within a game. And today's game is going to be Ironstorm on the Sega Saturn. This is a turn-based battle simulator, and there is a particular battle in this game that is almost impossible to beat. And I think it's because the programmers made a mistake or something, I don't know. So today I'm going to try to beat that battle again, and I'm going to take you along for the ride, and I'm going to talk to you about what makes it so hard to win. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Let's head into battle. In Ironstorm, you get to fight the battles of World War II on a grid. In the main mode, you get to pick between Germany, America, or Japan, and then play through the entire war on grids. All the well-known battles are here: Stalingrad, Pearl Harbor, Normandy, along with the ones that most people don't know by name. If you play as Germany or Japan, you can actually change the outcome of the war, fighting battles that never actually took place, like the invasion of America. I have played through the campaign mode multiple times and found it to be very enjoyable, and I found the challenge to just be average. For those who don't feel like fighting an entire war, you have the option of being in just one battle, and that's in the standard mode, where there's 10 different battles to choose from. I have found the difficulty of these battles to be moderate, except for one. It's a battle I've only been able to win a couple of times over the span of 2 decades. It's a nightmare called the Battle of Fall. It's the hardest turn-based battle on a grid I have ever witnessed. It's based on a real battle of the same name, fought between the British and the Japanese. It was basically Japan's attempt to invade India. The Japanese ended up losing. That's not good for you, since you play as the Japanese in this video game version. The footage you are seeing is me attempting to win the battle to the best of my abilities. I am playing on a real disc on a real Sega Saturn without using any cheats. Most of you have probably played games like this. You move pieces around a grid like chess. During your turn, you move all your pieces, and then at the end of that turn, the computer moves all theirs. Each of the pieces you see represents 10 units at the start of the battle. So when you're moving a tank, you're actually moving 10 tanks. When opposing pieces get close to one another, they can attack each other, which lowers the unit counts down from 10. If it reaches 0, the piece disappears from the board. Units can also capture cities, which in turn brings in more money, which can be used to repair damaged units or buy replacements that have been destroyed. How do you win a battle? You have to destroy all the enemy bases. Those bases are where the enemy creates new units. You basically have to push those units back and attack the base until it explodes. If you manage to do that, all the units that were created by that base disappear from the board in a very dramatic fashion. There's a total of 3 enemy bases in this battle, and you have your own base. You also have a computer-controlled Japanese ally, and they have a base for themselves. If you do the math, you are outnumbered by a 3-to-2 ratio. For every 2 turns your side takes, the opponent takes 3. You and your allies can have up to 64 pieces, but the enemies can have up to 96. You can see where this is heading. Math is essentially your enemy. Time is also your enemy. You have to destroy all 3 of those enemy bases within 100 turns. If you don't, the game becomes a draw. Destroying those 3 bases is not an easy thing to do for multiple reasons. 1, the map is huge. 2, your progress is slow, because the terrain is mountainous and full of rivers. You have to squeeze through tiny bridges and mountain passes, grinding your way through checkpoints. 3, it's almost always overcast and raining. This means you can't see very far ahead of you. You can't just drive into the darkness because if you encounter an enemy in the dark, an ambush takes place, where your unit gets damaged and the enemy's does not. Once you're close to the enemy base, getting it destroyed isn't easy. It's usually guarded by mortars. You can launch your own mortars at the base, but it usually takes several turns to take it all the way down to 0. Meanwhile, enemy tanks are constantly being replenished around the enemy bases, including the Lee tanks, which are the strongest pieces on the board. When you start the game, you have to decide which of the 3 bases to take out first. Coming into today, the only times I ever won the battle is by attacking and destroying the middle one, then splitting off and destroying the other 2. There's barely enough turns to do all that. That worked in the past, but this time around, the strategy didn't work for me. After destroying the first base, it becomes a 2-on-2 game, so you think the math would be in your favor. But it doesn't happen like that. It seems like the remaining enemies start playing better, and those Lee tanks just start appearing everywhere. I had a lot of difficulty this time around, and I was about to wrap up this episode by saying I could not beat it, but I wanted to have a little departing fun with the game. I sent a secret squadron of men and tanks to the far west side of the map, below the enemy base. By secret, I meant I snuck through the enemy's blind spots, moving rather weak pieces into an area of the map that has very little activity. I then attacked that base from the south, catching them by surprise. I kept replenishing my weak pieces and attacking the base over and over again. To my surprise, it worked. I destroyed that base at a very early point in the battle, which gave me enough time to destroy the other 2 bases and win the battle. But it came at a real-life cost. The time it takes to fight this battle is enormous. For me, it took maybe 4 or 5 hours each try. You could save at any time, but the only way to speed up the gameplay is by turning off the battle animations. Moving all your pieces takes a while, and then sitting through the 4 other turns takes an enormous amount of time. If you play this battle on a real Saturn, you may want to have a magazine nearby to pass the time. In the end, I truly think the programmers did something wrong that caused this battle to be too difficult. But you know what? I enjoyed every minute of it. And that's all I had for you today. May your games make you happy and smart, and may people respect you for playing them.